Welcome to another Gamma Partner Artist Feature interview. Today we speak with Eka Lestienne. Eka speaks on all things color, creativity, energy, auras, what it means to be a crypto Baroque artist, and all about the layers of her life and her art. I think you're going to enjoy this conversation. Okay, very excited to have Eka with us today. Eka is a Gamma Partner artist, a self-described crypto Baroque Pioneer, which I really will be interested to dig into and find out more about. Eka explores a lot with using AR with her work, which I can't wait to talk about too. And you can tell from her fantastic background, if you're watching and not listening to this, that it's super colorful. So I am sure that we'll touch on color as well. But enough from me. Eka, tell your story. You know, it can be right back from when you first became interested creatively up until now. Go for it.
Hello. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here, to be part of Gamma. I absolutely prefer the innovative platform, the best one. And I would like to introduce my style, which is crypto Baroque. And I call this it's a reference to Baroque style, which is very charged emotionally and visually. And my idea is to introduce viewers to the broader reality and to explore with me what is beyond, because there are things we can see, there are things we can feel, and there are things we can deduct, and we know they're here intuitively. And I think we're experiencing such a big shift right now. Like many people, they become almost psychics, because I think there is more available to us. We have incredible tools like AI is an absolutely incredible tool to express our creativity. And I really enjoy using it, and really enjoying this journey.
Yeah, so I'd love for you to elaborate on that last point. I mentioned that you use AR, which we'll talk about, but yeah, the advent of AI and its use in art and the way that you said you can use it to express yourself even more freely. Yeah, talk about that and the process with that.
Yes, absolutely. I think I have a very particular way of create a creative process. It's pretty unique because I never learned, so I learned by myself, and I create many layers, and some of them are completely invisible. And so you can use AR to actually see the whole picture and to explore all these small pieces hidden, woven in the artwork. And it's pretty cool, because some people, they actually see the hidden layers. They can intuitively see them. I don't know how, because I can't. That's I think that this is a really strong message that we don't really know what we are capable for, and this is to me, I really enjoy working with energies and incorporating in my art energies of abundance, love, like prosperity, like all good things. So I really, the way I create, I keep adding things until it resonates. So it's a pretty intuitive process. And at some point, I feel like now I can feel that it resonates. So it's pretty much like composing, like creating music, and so it can be also explained as visual music.
Yeah, I think that's a really unique way to describe your work, actually. I hadn't really thought of that. And where do you think that was derived from? That I suppose the way that you now create with layers and bring it to life. And I've seen you post on Twitter, and anyone who's bought your work and played with it in AR, yeah, you can really, I suppose, immerse yourself in it and view it in a completely different way.
It's absolutely, it's really fun to see how each person will have her own unique experience with the art. The one I would not specifically think about because artwork continues living by itself, and it's pretty much uh, continues on this adventure. And I think that like collectors, they have very special relationship with the art they collect. So it's their legacy, it's their choice to be surrounded by this kind of art, by this kind of vibration. So um, I'm really respectful to this a kind of story, which is really exciting to see happening. It's so, I mean, it's been how many months? Like 5, 6 months since I'm on Gamma, and it has been an amazing adventure so far.
It's interesting. It's obvious to say you've used words like energy and vibrations and experience. Where do you think that has come from? How has that, become part of your growth as an artist, and where you, or the space, I suppose, that you potentially get into when you're creating?
I think I always had this kind of some supernatural abilities, gifts. But at some point, someone told me that it wasn't a good thing to see all the things I was seeing. For example, I was seeing aura of people. I was like literally seeing them, and at some point, I decided that I should not be seeing things, and I stopped seeing. But they're still there. So the whole adventure is like we do not need to consciously understand. We don't need to consciously see, or but there's so much more to the reality that we can explain, and it's beautiful. It's so beautiful, and it's really it inspires me every day. So many amazing things, and the incredible thing is like we're all connected in some kind of ways, and also my art is all about community and connection, because we're all these small pieces. Because sometimes like people are saying like you so many colors, so many shapes, they are like chaotic and absolutely different, but they vibe together and they create this like, beautiful piece. It seems impossible when you see it, but I think that this is pretty much what we are like, as a as humanity, as community. Um, because we are all different, but we are important, we are beautiful in our uniqueness, but we create something even bigger.
Yeah, for sure. It's almost like a patchwork coming together or something like that. Such an interesting way for you to express it. And how did you have you always been creative, or when did you start making art? Can you remember back to that point, and then through to now putting art onto Bitcoin, and perhaps beforehand on other chains and NFTs? What was your artistic journey like?
Like, I have lived many lives. I used to be a lawyer. I used to be a lawyer and had like studies, diplomas, and then I used to be a financial analyst. When I came to France, I got my MBA degree and worked as a financial project manager. And then I had a burnout in 2019. And it was like a major changing point. It's funny because 2019 seems to be like the year when too many people things have changed, and so I think for some reason there was like this kind of maybe a portal to new opportunities, to new our, our new selves, like our larger selves. And so really, the burnout itself wasn't a fun experience, but to reconnect to the reality, I started to take pictures. So like I was doing this like exercise. The chair is yellow, the ball is white. To start just noticing that I'm alive, I'm here, and then I started taking pictures, and then I was like, pictures they cannot actually explain what I can feel because it, the reality is like bigger, it's more beautiful. So I started processing them, applying the filters, and at some point I started to create collages, like putting many pieces together and mixing them with other elements and with some doodles and with some watercolor paintings and all other kinds of stuff. It wasn't AI at this point. So, and this was the journey. I was even taking pictures of rice, of some food, of my coffee, and mixing it all to express this feeling of larger reality. Then I started using AI, which was a big liberating point because now I could detach from the pictures. So I could generate like unlimited number of unique images in any style, like in any shapes. You can go even faster and doing even more. And so it has been an amazing adventure, and then amazing people came into my life. It's like it kept unfolding. It's just like a big journey of alignment because I was basically just being myself and trying to express what I was feeling, like my inner world, and then there was an opportunity of exhibition, or there was a brand who bought my art to print it on the bags. And then there was an opportunity to participate, like to the competition for the climate change awareness. So I did a piece, and I won a second prize. I was exhibited all over, like in Toronto, in Dubai, in several major UN institutions, and they had this NFT collection. So I was like, what's NFT? And then I joined the NFT world, and then I connected to the community, which is amazing. And at some point, it was exactly 1 year ago, I heard about Ordinals. And it was a French podcast. They were talking about the whole concept, and I really loved the idea of art being on chain, because I believe that art itself is pretty much alive, and so it being stored somewhere outside of the blockchain is not ideal, I think. But when it's inscribed, it continues to vibe. It continues to actually share what it has to share. It continues being alive, basically, on the blockchain. I really loved the concept. Then I bought some Bitcoin. I created Xpress Wallet, and I was blocked because I couldn't understand how to proceed. Actually, there was no. Couldn't find any information how you actually inscribe what you do after that. So, and then Prism wrote me a message in August last year, and I was like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening again. I mean, I was really inspired by this opportunity to join Bitcoin Ordinals. I loved being part of, really loved being part of Counterfeit, and this is. And then I joined Gamma. It was absolutely amazing journey. As a community is incredible.
How have you found the community aspect of being in the NFT and or now ordinal world in comparison to, you know, previously when you had been exhibited in the, you know, the physical world? But yeah, how has that, I guess, like difference been in terms of you know, inspirations and whatnot?
Absolutely. I actually made like some physical sales and was exhibited pretty a lot. I was exhibited a lot in France and elsewhere, in London and New York, Tokyo, like pretty much in many places. I was exhibited in Melbourne.
That's where I am. There you go.
So this is another illustration of the alignment thing.
Yeah.
And like, but some of my best friends live in Melbourne. There is a thing about Melbourne and me. And yeah, the community is incredible, and the connection with the collectors, like people who really become part of the journey, is something I really admire in this way of doing my artistic career. because the collector is not exactly a consumer. So it's not someone who buys the art and forgets. It's someone who becomes a family, someone who becomes a major inspiration. So it's something I absolutely. It's amazing. I appreciate it so much. I really love my collectors, and the connection is absolutely precious. And the community of artists is super awesome too, because everyone is so nice and helpful, because we're all pioneers. We are all just creating something that never existed, and like in traditional art world, it can be a little bit different, because it's mostly like explaining, like I had in the beginning, I had some kind of feedbacks, because like you're not real artists, because you do digital art. I was like, oh, okay. It's fine. It's your opinion. I respect it. But then it changed. Then I started winning prizes at traditional art shows, and at some point I was invited and considered a really esteemed artist of the traditional art community. And then the traditional artists were coming to me and saying like, "What you're doing is amazing, absolutely. Nothing, have never seen anything like this before." So, I mean, and in ordinals, you just can be yourself, and you are instantly accepted because you want to be part of it.
For sure. And that must be very gratifying. I always say that collecting digital art is just collecting art. How do you see that sort of like shift from traditional, or even using the word trad art, to it just being art? And how like, have you thought about that and how the worlds might meet and kind of just be a little bit, you know, more like cohesive, or do you see them as two separate things?
I don't think there's two separate things, but like, obviously the original of digital artwork, if it's inscribed on Bitcoin, on blockchain, or it's an NFT elsewhere, The original is the NFT. The original is the inscription. So it's a different. I do agree that like, the original would not be the print, even if you certify it's as a one of one. To me, the original is digital. So, and it's the best way to protect it and to make it matter is to inscribe it. So there is this difference, I think, because if you inscribe a piece which is an oil painting, there still will be a physical original.
Yeah, and it's an interesting discussion because the digital version with the inscription, probability wise, it has a longer, depending on how they're kept, but has the longevity in comparison.
Yes, and we are really in the very beginning of it, so it's super exciting to actually shape this space, to be the ones who decide, who say, I think this is relevant, and I think this is the future, and it is.
It certainly feels like that sort of a movement. I'm going to bring your work up, but we can see just from your background, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but obviously you like to create colorfully, and you said before about like energy and just like experience and vibrations and those like auras and colors and whatnot. Is that something that is always there when you create, or do you create in different ways? Because if we look at your work, we can certainly see that sort of thread.
Absolutely, yes. I create with colors, and colors are very important part of my journey. But it's also continues with this visual music thing, because colors are music, and this is how I feel. This is how I feel the reality. I feel it's in colors, pretty intense, and also I think it's an easy, is probably the easiest way to express emotions, and to connect instantly, because music you need to listen for some time to connect with it, and colorful artwork, it's instantly, it's like if you connect with it, you're like, wow. It's like almost electrifying, and also it's a way of finding your people, because like people who are not your people will not like it. So I'm only surrounded by my people.
That's right. And art can be very perceptive. It's certainly, like you said, I think electrifying is a great word. I think like even intoxicating, but in like a really, with the positive connotation, is also a nice way to describe it. And yeah, visual music, it's so fascinating that you say that and then mention about feelings and color, because every human associates different feelings with different colors, and it's certainly a way that children associate feelings as well. Is that part of when you create? Like, you can feel free to even talk about Curiouser, and Curiouser, the piece we're looking at now, yeah, about emotion and feelings and what's in the artwork.
Absolutely. You mentioned children, like children love my art. This is something like I have a big success when I exhibit something. If there are children visitors, they see things like adults don't see. And then like, I love talking to them and like, which one you prefer. And like, there was a little girl, she was 4 years old, and she's like, the unicorn piece. And there was some unicorn which is completely hidden and invisible. And her grandmother's like, darling, there's no unicorn. But actually there is. And then I showed the AR, and she was like, oh my God, she could really see that without any tools. And so yes, it's pretty much a game. And I'm really having fun with like Curious, and Curiouser has lots of doodles which are hidden, and I invite the viewers to see their own story, and sometimes they see things that I did not intentionally put there, and but they're still in the artwork, and which is amazing.
Definitely. Like you said, people see things that, yeah, I guess like resonate with them. And I love that that child saw the unicorn and her grandmother couldn't see it. So talk to me about, if we look at luminescence, you know, there's the moon and there's the lady, and I, you know, the more you look at it, the more you see. You must have a lot of fun putting them together.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, I really and I always start. Usually, I start with deeper layers, which are not the main character. I usually have a main character in the end, but I love starting with the deeper layers and to develop it and to create a whole universe of a story, an experience, something that invites you to see deeper.
It's always a funny question to ask an artist, but do you collect your own art or do you hold pieces back? Do you ever create something and think, you know, I really want that, or I really need that, or that's too personal to put out? What's that like for you in those thought processes?
Absolutely, do some pieces that I'm really precious about.
Yeah.
Yes, because like each piece is something I lived, something I felt personally, and there is one piece I didn't dare to actually release as an artwork, but I gifted an edition to one of my favorites collectors, to Steven, and because I really felt like he would really appreciate it. And it was a day. Actually, the piece represents a perfect day of my life when me, my husband, his grandmother, who I love very much, and children, we visited a castle, like a medieval castle, and there was a rose garden, and there was like all those artworks, and the garden is roses. They smelled so good, and they were so beautiful. And grandmother, she was so happy, and she was radiant, and we lived such a beautiful day together. And then I created an artwork, and it's really imprinted in my heart. So, yes, I absolutely do some profound experiences with it.
Yeah, it sounds like, and it sounds like a lot of your you put a lot of your experiences into your work. Where else do you find inspiration?
I'd say everywhere. Like it could be a TV show, it could be talking to someone. I really love, astrology. I really love people who are talking about the energy change, who really feel it, and who have kind of shamanic experiences, life reading. I really love reading classical literature. It can be anything. It can be really lots actually. I have a dream diary, so it's in on my art. I often there are animals. I think almost on all pieces there are animals. They can be hidden, but I do see animals in my dreams, and they come to me and like spirit guides. So yes, I think everything inspires me. It could be the reading books with children, and it could be like a story, a little. Riding Red Hood, and I'll sure use it as an inspiration the next day.
Yeah, I love that. I can, you know, really feel the passion and the enthusiasm in your voice, you know, when you're talking about it. I always like to ask, for artists who maybe are, you know, from the traditional world, or are just trying to work out, how do I get into this space? What advice do you give people interested in creating in the digital space and then on Bitcoin?
I think like you need to believe. You need to believe it's the faith. Faith is really important, because I can't really convince people who don't want to come, because because I think it's a lot. It must be coming from the heart, and when it is, like when I heard about ordinals, I was, this is exactly how I see it. Also, the numbers I haven't explained. Also, this each inscription has a unique number. You know, you can choose sets, and on Gamma you can now choose your set to add another layer of the complexity to the piece you love. So it's, to me, it speaks to me so much, because you know that my layered artwork, and also I started to create music too, and to me it makes so much sense to have this unique number, because we are pretty much living this is in this kind of a matrix. Uh, you know, we have our birth dates, and sometimes in our family it can be like similar birth dates. This is not a coincidence. There's really some codes. so, I mean, inscription with a number, it's makes it the artwork.
Yeah, it's fascinating how inspiring you find that, because it's something that really spoke to me as well, about how humans, we have a lot of narratives around numbers. Like you said, it adds a layer and you create in layers. Has that changed the way that you think about, you know, maybe perhaps the next piece that you create?
I'm like, it's more like when I inscribe and I see angel numbers appearing, I'm like, oh, something is going on. It's an alignment. It's like some kind of a blessing. So I pretty much obsessed with the angel numbers, but what I noticed that collectors like them too, and they will spontaneously choose those inscriptions with the beautiful numbers. So it makes sense not only to me but to many people actually.
Absolutely, it's a unique aspect of, you know, Bitcoin inscriptions for the artist, but like you said, for the collectors. That's interesting. Have you spoken to some of your collectors about it?
Yes, yeah, I did, and they're like, of course. I notice this kind of things, but my collectors, they're like very likely to understand me, and to connect with what I feel, because they connect with my art. So I often find it's incredible how deep our conversations can be, because we probably have been through this kind of awakening, like a journey to notice, to see deeper, and so it's it's wild.
Completely agree. And like I said before, your passion and enthusiasm for this, and your energy is very. I think that it's very prominent. So it's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you, Eka. You know, I have loved this deep dive and finding out more about you as a person, and your art, and how it is part of your life. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I absolutely love chatting with you, and I am so grateful for being part of this amazing journey and Gamma's adventure. And I'm super proud to see it growing and inventing more and more things, offering more and more tools to the artists, to the collectors. So it's such an exciting journey. Thank you.
No, not a problem. We can't do it without, the wonderful creators, and you're one of them. So thank you so much.